Hey guys, it's Jarek there, Dragon from Red Dragon Airsoft, and I got a highly anticipated rifle right here. So this is the Marushin M2 Carbine. A lot of people really like the M2 for a very good reason. It's an M2. Do you really need another reason other than that? So this one specifically does not take your normal 6mm BBs. This takes your 8mm. Yeah, I'll show you how large these things are right here. Yeah, 8mm. These are 0.27 gram BBs, which is about the lightest you want to use for 8mm, and that's pretty much going to end up being the standard for chronoing it. So, fully gassed and loaded magazine. Let's see what this thing can do. Alright, so feet per second first as always. Again, this is with 8mm, fully gassed up with propane, and 0.27 8mm BBs. So, here we go. 377, 334, 316, 297, 310, 291, 278. So it looks like it's going to be averaging around about 300 feet per second when you have this fully gassed up. On a warm day, it'll probably be somewhere around 320s. But this was an 8mm. If that was a 6mm, that's probably averaging, I'd say that equal about the same amount as force, to say 450 feet per second, something like that. 8mm are bigger, and that's going to hurt pretty bad. Alright, so now we have one more test. Did I neglect to mention that this thing is also full auto? So yeah, you got a gas blowback M2 that shoots 8mm BBs around 300 feet per second, around 300, 330. First 3 shots will be about 400. But it's gas blowback, and it also shoots full auto. So let's go rounds per minute. Don't be expecting anything amazing out of this, as it is 8mm and a large bolt. So rate of fire is not going to be absolutely amazing, but let's go ahead and do it. 840 rounds a minute. I take back what I just said. We're out of BBs. Gotta go reload. Alright, so regassed, reloaded. Let's go ahead and do some more rounds per minute. Oh, dang it. Has to turn off right when I go to shoot. That was perfect timing. 680. 789. 650. And I am out of BBs. Alright, so it looks like it's averaging actually around about 800 rounds a minute. On a warmer day, again, that's going to raise, which did give me a big surprise. Now, I did get a few readings around 650 rounds a minute, but since I did that twice and it was exactly 650, I think my chrono's just wanting to tell me it's stupid, because it's definitely not running at 650. But yeah, this thing is around 800 rounds a minute. This bolt, I'm going to try to show it to you here. This bolt is rather large. So, that going about 800 rounds a minute is pretty ridiculous. That's a pretty high rate of fire, so it's shooting BBs around 8mm BBs. Oops, hit the camera. Shooting about 8mm BBs, 0.27 gram, at about 300, 330 feet per second, and 800 rounds a minute. That is pretty dang amazing. Alright, so here's something you guys probably want to see. I'm going to be shooting a can with an 8mm M2. So 0.27s, I regassed it all, the magazine's kind of getting a little cold. But let's go ahead and shoot this can for semi-automatic. Ooh, right through it. Alright, let's go full auto. And we are out of BBs. Alright, so as you guys can see, there's a lot of impact force with an 8mm BB. Alright, so let's go ahead and compare the two. Here's an 8mm BB, here's a 6mm BB, just kind of laying on the ground. So that's really gonna hurt. See, the first shot just went straight on through. Look at that exit wound. That's huge for an 8mm, for a BB, period. You get hit with this, you're definitely gonna be feeling it, especially if it's on full auto. Alright, so as you guys just saw, this thing, it's gonna hurt. And it's definitely a pretty nice little rifle. This thing actually is very light. I'll go over that more in the review. But the M2 is light as well, so the real one anyway. But alright, so 8mm, so you can see the bolt is very large, yet it's shooting at about 300 feet per second to 330 feet per second, depending on the temperature. First shots were around 400. So for an 8mm, that's going to give you a lot of force and a lot of pain. You don't want to be on the other end of this little airsoft gun here, because it's going to hurt a lot. Imagine if you have higher gram 8mm BBs on there. The ones I'm using now are about the equivalent of a .2 for the 6mm. So this thing, definitely going to be painful. Extremely painful. Let's just, out of interest, see how much gas is left in this. It's probably not going to be much because the mag's getting a little bit cold because I use this one magazine for the whole chrono and shooting the can. But let's go ahead and see. Yep, and that's it. So overall, it's a lot of fun to shoot. It's quite a bit of nice little kick for such a small rifle, but the bolt is large. It just feels very good doing that. Really, I'm impressed. I don't know if you guys couldn't tell by the way I'm talking, but I'm very impressed with this thing. So again, let's recap. 8mm, .27, shooting about 300, 330 feet per second, around 800 rounds a minute on full auto with this gigantic bolt. That's pretty impressive. That's very impressive. This thing is incredibly nice. If you want to buy this gun, there's a link over in the video information to RDA's website. There's also a link in the video information to RDA's forum, where you can talk about anything you want to, ask questions, as long as you post them in the right sections and follow the rules. So with that being said, that has been Red Dragon Airsoft's chrono of the Marushin M2 Carbine.